I stood at my parents' front door, holding a pumpkin pie and 1,000 unspoken words. Through the glass, I saw laughter, warmth, everything that used to feel like home. My dad's voice broke the moment. There she is. Our number cruncher. I smiled, like always, pretending it didn't hurt to be the outsider at my own family's table. Mom exclaims, accepting the pie with a quick kiss on my cheek while her eyes dart past me toward the driveway. Is that all you brought? Just me and the pie, I respond, attempting to maintain a light tone. Made from scratch. Dad pats my shoulder. Nova works with numbers. Very stable job. Always punctual. The praise lands like a backhanded compliment. Always punctual. Always reliable. Always boring. Variations of this praise have echoed throughout my life. Just then, Mom's phone beeps, brightening her face. That's your sister. She's a bit late. 30 minutes and counting, I murmur, but I'm swiftly ushered toward the living room, where relatives gather with drinks and appetizers. Uncle Warren raises his glass. The accountant arrives. How's life balancing those books, Nova? I'm actually an internal auditor, I correct him, accepting a flute of champagne from a passing tray. And business is, suddenly, silence falls over the room like a thick curtain. Conversations pause mid-sentence. All heads turn to the entryway. My sister has arrived. Selena glides in, 30 minutes late, and looks as though she stepped off a magazine cover. Her camel Max Mara coat, which I recognize from last month's Vogue, drapes elegantly over her shoulders, while her Prada handbag likely costs more than my rent. Sorry I'm late, she announces, not sounding at all apologetic. The traffic was a nightmare. Mom rushes towards her, radiating the sort of pride she hardly shows when introducing me. You look stunning, sweetheart. She gently touches Selena's coat sleeve. Is this new? I just got it last weekend, Selena beams. The color called to me. You work so hard, you deserve to treat yourself. Mom gushes. I swallow hard, downing my champagne in a single gulp. The irony stings worse than the fizz. Selena hasn't held a steady job in 3 years, hopping between consulting gigs that never last but always have impressive titles. Dinner is announced before I can excuse myself for a refill. I find a seat between Cousin Lauren and Uncle Warren's new girlfriend, whose name slips my mind. Across from me, Selena holds the floor, regaling everyone with tales of her latest business venture, blending social media with luxury brands. Nova? Lauren leans in during a lull, lowering her voice. I've been meaning to ask you about my student loans. The interest is killing me. Do you have any advice on restructuring? I lean in, genuinely eager to help. Actually, there's a program I read about that might assist if your income is under a certain threshold. Not everyone wants to hear about math at dinner, dear, Mom interjects from 3 seats away, her hearing suddenly sharp. She smiles at Lauren. Why don't you ask Selena? She's great with money. The table grows still. I stare at my plate, fork poised over untouched turkey. Selena's laughter sparkles like ice in a crystal glass. Oh, Nova's always crunching numbers, she says, swirling her wine. And always short on cash, it seems. My cheeks flush. I manage my money just fine, I retort. Do you? Selena raises an eyebrow. Then why are you always asking for loans? A chill sweeps through the dining room. 23 pairs of eyes shift between us like spectators at a tennis match. I've never asked you for money, I maintain, my voice unwavering despite the chaos in my ears. Not once. Not once. Please. Selena rolls her eyes theatrically. You should stop begging for money, it's embarrassing. The words strike me like a physical blow. My ears ring with the boldness of her falsehood, a complete distortion of our reality. Silence reigns. No one defends me, not even our parents, who know exactly where the money flows. Speaking of embarrassing, Dad chimes in with forced cheerfulness. Did anyone see the Seahawks game last Sunday? That fourth quarter was wild. Just like that, conversation stumbles ahead, leaving my humiliation behind like roadkill no one dares to acknowledge. I find myself frozen in time, whisked back to when I was just 10, eagerly breaking open my piggy bank to help buy Selena a dance costume. Your sister needs it more than you do, Mom had said, gently patting my head. She has a recital coming up. You're the sensible one, Nova. The one who takes care of things. The one expected to make sacrifices. When dessert is served, I quietly excuse myself, slipping away to the powder room. My hands shake as I securely lock the door behind me, yet my thoughts have never been clearer. I pull out my phone and launch my banking app, fixating on the 5 recurring payments tied to accounts with Selena's name. 5 years. $52,800. An average of $880 each month. Car insurance. Credit card minimums. Personal loan installments. The stark illustration of my sister's financial drain shines brightly on my screen, presented neatly as an auditor would arrange them. Without a moment's hesitation, I proceed to cancel each payment. One after another, confirmation messages pop up, recurring payment canceled. 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 I splash cold water on my face, dry it off with one of Mom's lovely guest towels, and head back into the dining room. My pumpkin pie sits proudly on the table, with slices already taken from its flawless crust. There you are, Mom says. We started without you. That's fine, I reply, easing back into my seat, a wave of calm washing over me. I'm not really craving dessert anyway. My phone buzzes in my pocket. Confirmation alerts from my bank. The cancellations are finalized. More coffee, Nova? Dad asks, pot in hand. I smile, holding out my cup. Yes, I think I'd like a second helping. For the first time in 5 years, I won't be covering my sister's expenses tonight. For the first time in ages, I'm prioritizing myself, and it feels like taking a deep breath after nearly drowning. Numbers are truthful. People, however, can be deceitful. The following day, morning light streams through the blinds of my cozy one-bedroom apartment as I power on my laptop at the little desk nestled between the kitchen and living room. The coffee maker gurgles in the background, its comforting rhythm calming my hands as I begin a new spreadsheet. Payment history. Selena Cole. I enter the title, my fingers dancing across the keys with the accuracy that brings me value at work. Each keystroke feels like reclaiming a piece of my identity. I pull up my banking records and meticulously jot down every payment made to my sister over the last 5 years. The spreadsheet expands, row by row, like an archaeological dig into my financial sacrifices. 3 separate credit card payments each month. The personal loan that was meant to be temporary, just until her commission came through, and the car insurance for that luxurious SUV she insisted on for client meetings that never happened. The total tally at the bottom of the column reads $52,800. That number sits there, not accusing me of kindness, but rather of naivety. It's nearly $900 each month, surpassing my own car payment, funneled quietly into maintaining Selena's carefully crafted image. I save the document to 3 different cloud storage locations. Evidence secured, I allow myself another sip of coffee. My phone buzzes once more. The screen illuminates with Selena's name for the 16th time since morning. I mute it without glancing at the message, but the notifications keep flooding in. Something's wrong with the payments. Call me immediately. Did you switch banks? Payment failed. What did you do? The credit card company called. Resolve this. Auto pay declined. Call me back. Insufficient funds? What's going on? The messages escalate from uncertainty to panic to fury, her desperation manifesting in punctuated bursts. 15 calls. Over 30 messages in just one day. I turn my phone screen down and continue my task. Before mid-afternoon, it finally happens. My mother's name flashes on the screen. I answer on the 3rd ring. Nova? What's happening? Selena says you're refusing to help her with something. There's that familiar tone of disappointment in her voice. As though I'm 10 again, selfishly keeping all my birthday cash instead of sharing. I've been covering her bills for 5 years, Mom. My voice feels different now, steadiness rising for the first time when I talk to her. She told everyone at Thanksgiving that I begged her for money, so I stopped. A sharp intake of breath greets my statement. That's not what she meant. You know how Selena gets when she's anxious. She exaggerates. I counter, it wasn't an exaggeration. It was a lie. And everyone bought it. You're being dramatic. Family helps family. I supported for 5 years. That's $52,800 of my money. A long silence ensues, followed by the shuffle of the phone as it changes hands. Nova, it's Dad. His voice suddenly seems older. What's this about money? Your sister claims you've cut her off unexpectedly. Did she mention why she needs my money every month? She's been struggling with cash flow issues in her business, and you know that already. Dad, she doesn't even run a business. She hasn't had stable work for 3 years. A long silence ensues. You've changed, he finally says. You used to be so kind. Those words hit harder than I anticipated, yet clarity rises up to counter the discomfort. I haven't changed, I reply. I just stopped allowing others to exploit my kindness as their safety net. The stunned silence that follows tells me they've never viewed our family situation from this perspective. The conversation ends awkwardly, with pledges to discuss this later, code for hoping I reconsider. Just as I set my phone down, it rings again. Lauren, hey. Just wanted to check in. You left Thanksgiving so abruptly. Her voice fades, searching for information. It was a tough evening, I say cautiously. Selena's been messaging everyone about financial troubles. Something about you opting out of a loan? A bitter laugh escapes before I can contain it. I didn't opt out of a loan. I halted her monthly payments after covering her bills for 5 years. Wait, you've been covering her bills? But she has that enormous house in Bellevue. Lauren's surprise confirms my suspicions. No one knew. For years, Selena projected an image of success while secretly draining my finances. How much are we talking about? Lauren asks. $52,800. Holy crap, Nova. She pauses. No wonder you always decline family trips. A lump forms in my throat. All those years of excuses about work commitments, saving for a house, needing to be available for emergencies felt less straightforward yet more heart-wrenching. I simply couldn't sustain both Selena's lifestyle and my own at the same time. After Lauren hangs up, promising to keep this private, I know she won't, my phone buzzes with a text from cousin Michael. It's about time someone stood up to the golden child. The truth is spreading through our family, revisiting 5 years of gatherings where Selena flaunted designer outfits while I wore the same black dress accessorized differently. Where she brought expensive wine while I baked from scratch to save money. Where she bragged about exclusive resorts while I subtly mentioned staycations. I closed the spreadsheet and shut my laptop. The paperwork is all wrapped up. The payments are canceled. The truth is out in the open. For the first time in 5 years, all $880 of my monthly payment to Selena will stay in my own bank account. However, this realization doesn't yield the satisfaction I anticipated. Instead, it brings merely a hollow relief, like finally extracting a splinter that had forced me to alter my actions to avoid the pain. I glance at my phone, noticing the notification count has soared to 43. Tomorrow will undoubtedly bring more calls, more guilt, and more pressure. But tonight, the numbers are clear. And unlike sisters, numbers don't lie. The family group chat notification lights up my phone at 6:47 a.m. the next morning. I squint at the screen, still nestled under my comforter, and immediately regret looking. Please keep Nova in your prayers during this challenging time. Selena's message states, mental health struggles can take many forms, including financial envy and irrational actions. I stare at the ceiling, counting the gentle popcorn ridges to resist the urge to hurl my phone across the room. Within moments, messages flood in. Oh no! What happened? Sending love, Nova. We're here for you. Should we organize a care package? No one asks what triggered this announcement, and no one questions its legitimacy. My sister's word is law, and suddenly, I'm portrayed as the unstable family member having a meltdown. My mother calls almost instantly. Nova Marie Thompson. Her voice carries that particular tone saved for grave disappointments. You need to sort this out before Thanksgiving is totally ruined. Sort what, exactly? I ask, slipping my feet into slippers and padding toward the kitchen for coffee. Don't play dumb. Selena is heartbroken. Your father can hardly look at his phone when she texts about you. She hesitates. We raised you better than this. The coffee maker gurgles as I measure grounds with familiar precision. Did you ask Selena what I've actually done? She showed me the bank notifications. All those payments just suddenly stopped. My mother's voice drops to an accusatory whisper. She has expenses, Nova. Responsibilities. So do I. The words come out stronger than I meant. This isn't like you, she continues. The daughter I raised would never abandon her sister. I observe the coffee steadily dripping into the pot, dark and revealing. The daughter you raised has been covering Selena's bills for 5 years while she led everyone to believe I was the one begging for money. Silence stretches between us, tight as a wire. I have to leave for work, I interrupt, an act of rebellion I've never tried before. Send my love to Dad. I hang up the call before she can say anything and jump onto Facebook to check out Selena's newest post. It's a beautifully filtered image of her thoughtfully gazing out a window, with a caption reading, "Heartbroken when family members deal with jealousy. Praying for healing during this hard time." There are already 27 sympathetic comments. I exit the app without replying and continue to get ready for work. Yet, when I arrive at the office, something surprising occurs. I perform better than I have in months. Client documentation breezes through my review like never before. Spreadsheets that typically need a second look seem utterly clear after just one glance. You seem more focused lately, my manager observes during our afternoon check-in. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. What I'm doing is enjoying an extra $880 a month in my account and sleeping soundly for the first time in years. Later that evening, I buy a new desk for my home office, a solid oak design I've been admiring for months but couldn't justify while supporting Selena's lifestyle. As I enter my credit card info, I feel none of the usual guilt about treating myself. I don't calculate how this purchase will impact my ability to pay Selena's car insurance or minimum credit card dues. It dawns on me that I've been living beneath my means, not due to wise planning, but to finance my sister's extravagances. This realization settles heavily in my gut. The real test of my newfound determination comes 3 days later when Selena unexpectedly shows up in my office building's lobby. I see her through the glass doors as I return from lunch, wearing designer sunglasses, flawless makeup, and what looks like a meticulously chosen outfit that screams both wealth and distress. "How could you leave me like this?" she cries, tears streaming down her cheeks yet leaving her mascara untouched. "After everything I've done for you." Heads turn in the lobby. My coworkers slow down, pretending to be busy but clearly eavesdropping. I keep my tone measured and low. "This isn't the right place to discuss your financial issues, Selena." "Financial issues?" She laughs, the sound high and brittle. "You've always needed my help, and now when I need you, even if just temporarily, you cut me off completely?" A security guard glances over, concerned by the rising volume. "Call me when you're ready to discuss repayment plans," I respond quietly. "Repayment?" hangs between us like an untriggered grenade. Her tears instantly dry up. The change is almost impressive, if I hadn't witnessed it many times, the rapid shift from a wounded victim to an icy strategist when her manipulations fall flat. "This isn't over," she hisses, her voice steady now. She swiftly turns and walks away, her stiletto heels clicking on the marble as she exits through the revolving doors. I watch her leave, oddly calm after what should have felt like a devastating encounter. Saturday brings unexpected support. Lauren arrives at my apartment, bringing lunch from my favorite deli and a knowing smile. "You doing okay?" she asks, unpacking sandwiches and soup at my little dining table. What version of events are they talking about? I inquire, pulling plates from my cabinet. Lauren shakes her head. The true story is leaking out. Michael called after chatting with your dad. Is it true Selena owes you over $50,000? $52,800, I confirm. But her total debt is likely closer to $96,000 based on my understanding. Lauren's sandwich hesitates mid-air. $96,000? How is that possible? They live in that stunning house in Bellevue. Mortgaged to the max, I reply. Plus 3 maxed out credit cards, 2 personal loans, and a car lease that's 3 months overdue. I've been paying just the minimum for years. She was exploiting you this whole time. Lauren's voice hardens with anger, even while she pretends to be the successful one. My phone buzzes with a notification. The younger cousins have started a new group chat called Team Nova, keeping Selena and my parents out. I'm still processing this when my phone rings with an unknown number. I almost ignore it, but Lauren glances at the screen. That's Evan's cell, she says, eyes widening. Selena's husband. I answer the call and put it on speaker. Nova? Evan's voice is strained. We need to talk. I'm listening, I reply. I had no idea about any of this, he begins. She concealed everything. The payments. The debt. All of it. The raw sincerity in his tone surprises me. Thank you for quietly helping her all these years, he continues. I thought we were stable, but we've been living beyond our means to keep up appearances with the neighbors. I catch Lauren's astonished look from across the table. We're not as financially secure as everyone thinks, Evan admits. Not even close. A peculiar sense of weightlessness envelopes me. For years, I thought I was the only one who truly understood Selena. But now, others are starting to see beyond the facade. I finally say, I hope you can assist her in finding healthier coping mechanisms. Lauren gives my hand a reassuring squeeze as the call wraps up. For the first time in a long while, I'm not the sole keeper of Selena's truth. And for once in my life, I'm relieved of the pressure to be the fixer. That night, a loud knock at my apartment door jolts me at 11:42 p.m., 3 booming thuds that shake the frame. Even before I glance through the peephole, I know who it is. Selena is there, silhouetted in the harsh corridor light, clutching her arms around herself. Her hair drapes lifelessly around her face, devoid of any makeup. She's in faded jeans and a simple cotton tee, a look I've never seen her wear. I open the door but position myself to block her entry. It's nearly midnight. Please, she whispers, her voice fragile. I'm falling apart, Sky. Evan knows everything. For a moment, I can picture the little girl who used to hop into my bed during storms, seeking comfort from her fearless sister. But then I recall the Thanksgiving table where her tone was laced with insincere concern. You should stop begging for money, it's embarrassing. Still, I step aside. Come in. She rushes past me, pacing my living room like a trapped animal. The credit card companies keep calling. I've blocked 8 numbers, but they just switched to new ones. And the BMW, her voice falters, they're taking it back next week. I offer her a glass of water. She briefly eyes it, clearly wishing for wine. Mom and Dad are devastated, she continues, accepting the water but not sipping from it. You're tearing the family apart with this vendetta. I sit on my couch, watching her dramatics with a fresh perspective. If I lose everything, it's your fault, she says, her tone becoming sharper. Is that what you want? To see me fail? I wait until her speech loses momentum, until the dramatic pauses meant to elicit my support feel awkward. Once she's quiet, I respond. I've supported you for 5 years, Selena. She sniffs, nodding eagerly. And I'm so thankful. That's why I can't comprehend why you'd stop now, at my lowest point. I let a calculated silence stretch between us. That's $52,800, I respond coolly. I have records of every transaction. Her expression shifts from desperate pleading to defensive outrage in an instant. It wasn't that much. You're exaggerating to make me look terrible. Without a word, I open my laptop on the coffee table between us, lighting up with a spreadsheet detailing every payment, dates, amounts, account numbers. Notes tracking her calls, her excuses, and promises to pay me back next month for real this time. 5 years of financial sacrifice, carefully recorded in the only language I trust, numbers that tell the truth. This is, she stumbles over her words. You're doing this for your image. You always have to be the perfect one. When I remain silent, she changes her approach. You know I have costs you don't. The country club fees alone. She realizes how ridiculous that sounds. You earn so much more than I do, she retorts, her voice rising. You don't understand what it's like to struggle. I make $185,000 a year, I reply calmly. Her eyes widen slightly, clearly assuming I made significantly less. I chose to live in this one-bedroom apartment so that I could cover your bills. The ensuing silence feels like our first genuine moment in years. Her mouth opens and closes, searching for another angle. But we're sisters, she finally says, her tone diminished. Family helps family. I stand and walk to the door, opening it once again. You had 5 years, Selena. I've covered $52,000 of your debt. That's plenty. She grabs her purse, her stance rigid with anger. At the door, she pivots, her eyes narrowed. You're heartless, she spits. You'll regret this. No, I maintain eye contact unwaveringly. You should regret mistaking compassion for obligation. The door clicks softly behind her. 2 hours later, my mother calls. I can sense the tension in her tone, the effort to stay composed. Selena says you won't help her. She's going through so much right now. Did she mention how much I've already helped? I inquire. She mentioned some small loans, mom hedges. $52,000 over 5 years isn't small, Mom. Her sharp intake of breath reveals more than words ever could. Suddenly, Dad's voice interrupts. $52,000? That can't be accurate. I can email you the details, I say, already hovering my finger over a previously prepared email. Why would you keep giving her money all this time if she wasn't? He struggles to articulate. Being honest, I finish for him. Because she's family. And you taught me that family helps family, no matter what. The stunned quiet on the other line feels like a mix of validation and sorrow. Later that evening, messages start flooding my phone. Uncle Warren writes, "Your sister is heartbroken. Where's your empathy?" Then Aunt Patricia adds, "The family forgives." End of story. This cold response isn't like you. But there are others chiming in. Cousin Michael comments, "It's about time someone stood up to her. Call if you want to chat." Lauren texts, "I just heard the real situation. We're all on your side, including Mom and Dad." My phone pings with a notification from our family group chat, and I brace myself for another onslaught of guilt and pressure. Instead, I see an unexpected message from Evan. "Thank you all for your concern. Selena and I are facing some financial challenges that have come to light. We ask for your understanding during this period. Also, Nova, thank you for your past support, which wasn't properly acknowledged." The traditional family structure, with Selena at its radiant center and me orbiting like a dependable moon, is beginning to splinter. Thanksgiving dinner has turned into a significant landmark in our family's story, before the revelation and after. My father calls back, his tone subdued. "I've been reviewing these documents you sent. All these years you've been..." He trails off, unable to finish the thought that his favored child has been deceiving him while his reliable child has been sacrificing. "We should talk," he finally proposes. "All of us. Maybe Sunday dinner?" "Not yet," I respond, surprising myself with the firmness of my boundary. "I need some time." "Of course," he says quickly, almost too quickly. "Whatever you need." Those words feel odd coming from him, and indeed from anyone in my family. Whatever I need has never been the priority in the past. I curl up on my couch, wrapped in the quilt my grandmother made, the one Selena always deemed too old-fashioned. My apartment feels different tonight, not larger or more luxurious, but somehow truly mine. For the first time in 5 years, the weight of secrecy and obligation has been lifted. The money that supported Selena's meticulously crafted life will now help fund my authentic one. On my coffee table, the spreadsheet remains open on my laptop screen. 5 years of payments, each one a building block in the wall separating who I was from who I am becoming. I shut the laptop, plunging the room into darkness, save for the soft glow of city lights through my blinds. Tomorrow will bring more calls, relatives choosing sides, and more pressure to revert to my previous role. But tonight, in the quiet aftermath of finally voicing my truth, I discover something unexpected: peace. A week later, the text from Evan glows ominously on my phone screen. "Family meeting at our house. Tomorrow at 2. Just parents, you, and a few others. This needs to end." I stare at the words for a full minute, my stomach tightening. In the week since I confronted Selena in my apartment, the family has split into opposing factions. Mother continues to call daily with tearful pleas, while father has withdrawn into unusual silence. Cousins reach out either in support or condemnation, depending on their version of events. What surprises me most is Evan's sudden engagement. Throughout his 6 years of marriage to my sister, he has generally remained pleasantly detached from family turmoil. Upon arriving at their home, which is notably smaller than what Mother had led everyone to believe, Evan greets me at the door before I can knock. His usual easygoing demeanor is replaced with something more serious and resolute. "Thank you for coming," he says in a low voice. "This won't be easy." The living room feels like a courtroom awaiting a trial. Mother and father sit rigidly in matching armchairs, while Uncle Warren is at one end of the sofa beside Aunt Patricia and grandmother, whose presence signifies the weight of the situation. Selena is conspicuously absent. "Where is?" I begin, but Evan interrupts, gesturing toward the empty chair clearly intended as the focal point. "She'll join us shortly. Please, take a seat." Instead, I select a spot on the corner of the sofa, keeping a distance from the emotional center. The atmosphere is thick with unspoken accusations. Mother attempts a weak smile. "This is unnecessary. Family disagreements should remain private." "Not this one," Evan insists firmly, placing a thick manila folder on the coffee table. "Not anymore." The sound of a door closing echoes from the hallway, and Selena enters, her face bare of makeup, dressed in plain jeans and a beige sweater I've never seen before. No designer labels, no statement jewelry. Her eyes are swollen but dry. "Sit down, Selena," Evan instructs without looking at her. She perches on the edge of the vacant chair, hands clasped tightly in her lap. Evan stands in front of us, shoulders squared. "I brought you here because it's time for everyone to understand precisely what's been happening." He opens the folder. Over the past several years, Selena has accumulated personal debt totaling $96,500. Mother gasps. Father's head snaps up. This includes the $52,800 that Nova has secretly been paying for 5 years. Evan continues by stating that the money Selena mentioned came from a trust fund established by their grandmother. A sharp intake of breath from grandmother pierces the atmosphere. "I never created any such fund, I realize now." Evan spreads out credit card statements on the table, revealing regular purchases from Nordstrom, Saks, Neiman Marcus's designer clothes, jewelry, and handbags. These items were intended to project an image of success while we were quietly struggling. Father leans closer, examining the documents with increasing disbelief. "This doesn't seem like the daughter we raised." "I needed those items," Selena whispers. "Everyone anticipated my success." Mother reaches out to her. "Sweetheart, is this all true?" The question lingers in the air. It's the first time in 30 years that I've heard Mother question Selena's narrative. Selena's composed facade crumbles as tears streak down her face. "I just wanted everyone to be proud of me." "By deceiving us? By stealing from your sister?" Aunt Patricia's words pierce through like a knife. "I plan to repay her," Selena weakly protests. "When?" Evan counters. "With what funds? You haven't maintained a steady job in 3 years." The ensuing silence feels heavy. I watch as my family processes the reality they've been avoiding for years. Evan straightens up. "Things will begin to change starting today. We're selling the Range Rover. The vacation to the Maldives is canceled. Selena will start working 40 hours a week at Belinda's boutique next Monday, and will begin financial counseling on Thursday." Mother's complexion pales. "But that's too drastic." "It's necessary," Evan replies. "And it's long overdue." Father turns to me, his eyes clouded with a regret I have seldom seen. "We should have recognized it sooner." His voice drops to almost a whisper. "I'm sorry, Nova." The words I have awaited for decades settle softly, without the gratification I had anticipated. I nod once, acknowledging but not absolved. For the first time, I find myself amidst a family crisis without the expectation to resolve it. I am neither the rescuer nor the antagonist, just present. The peculiar freedom of this moment catches in my throat. The next 6 months unfold with careful, calculated steps. Family discussions shift as the entire story comes to light. Selena works in retail after years of leisure, returning home with sore feet and humbled expressions. Evan manages their finances using spreadsheets that mirror my meticulous records. When Mother calls now, her tone carries a newfound uncertainty, as though she's learning to navigate uncharted territory. Father inquires about my investment approaches, listening with genuine attentiveness. One Thursday morning in May, my phone buzzes with a banking notification: deposit $600. A text message follows: it'll take years, but I'll pay you back. I stare at the screen, recalling the Thanksgiving table where she accused me of pleading. The powder room where I finally established my boundaries. The spreadsheet documenting 5 years of silent sacrifice rests in my mind. My fingers hover above the keyboard. A multitude of responses materialize and fade within my thoughts. Ultimately, I type just 2 words. Received. Thank you. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But perhaps a slightly ajar door in a wall I had every right to construct. The weight of the pumpkin-scented candle steadies my hands as I stand at the threshold of Evan and Selena's smaller Tudor-style home. Through the leaded glass side panels of the front door, I catch sight of modest Thanksgiving decorations, a stark contrast to last year's lavish displays at our parents' home. For a moment, I contemplate turning back, driving to my apartment, and spending the holiday alone with a good book. But then I see my father through the glass, and our eyes connect. 1 year has altered more than just my living conditions. My apartment now features a plush burgundy sectional couch, replacing the worn hand-me-down I had endured for years. My home office shines with an actual desk instead of the unsteady card table where I managed my and Selena's finances for half a decade. The $880 monthly payment that previously vanished into my sister's endless needs now feeds an investment account that has grown 14%. Dad opens the door before I can knock. There she is, he says, but his voice lacks the authoritative tone I remember from childhood. Instead, I sense something I've never encountered before: respect. Happy Thanksgiving. I step inside, inhaling the aroma of roasting turkey. My simple knee-length dress in deep forest green feels more than adequate for the occasion. "Oh, you're right on time," Mom remarks, kissing my cheek with a sincerity I've rarely felt. Selena is just about to serve. The dining room table is simply set with white plates and cloth napkins, featuring only 8 place settings compared to last year's 24. No crystal chandelier hangs overhead, only a humble pendant light providing illumination for faces I now recognize as family rather than an audience. Selena steps out of the kitchen dressed in jeans and a cream sweater. There are no visible designer tags, nor does she wear any noticeable jewelry. With her hair tied back in a straightforward ponytail, she holds a platter of sliced turkey steadily. "Everything looks fantastic," I express sincerely. Selena's smile reflects a newfound humility. "Thank you for being here," she says. Once everyone is seated, Evan proposes a toast. All attention shifts to him, yet he gestures to Selena, who stands up slowly. She raises her glass of water. "To a family that speaks the truth, even when it is painful." My throat unexpectedly tightens. I lift my glass in response, not entirely ready for full reconciliation, but acknowledging this candid new start. Throughout the dinner, the conversation flows freely, absent of the usual pretenses. Uncle Warren speaks about his recent heart surgery without downplaying its seriousness. Lauren discusses her promotion without minimizing its significance. Parents confess their challenges with retirement planning, avoiding the illusion of perfection. There are no performances or competition, we simply share the experience of truth together. Later, back in my apartment, I open my laptop as a routine, though I no longer check the spreadsheet daily. I've received 12 consistent payments from Selena, each precisely on time. I scroll through my phone, removing old desperate messages from her that I had saved as proof. They no longer serve as protective armor against gaslighting. The truth has risen and settled like dust after a storm. I open my journal and write, $52,800. Had she been a stranger, I would have ceased contact years ago. Yet, she was my sister. Or so I believed. I pause and reflect on what has shifted. The monthly payments from Selena are not merely financial reimbursement. They signify acknowledgement that my boundaries are important, that my sacrifices merit recognition. My value was never contingent on family acceptance, although it took me 3 decades to grasp this. Boundaries are not acts of cruelty but acts of self-respect. I close the journal, feeling neither victory nor regret. Just clarity. Sometimes, kindness involves knowing when to let go. You cannot rescue someone who continually sinks, especially when they are the ones dragging you down. The lingering question in the quiet evening air of my apartment is, if faced with the same dilemma, what would you have chosen? Would you cut them off as I did? Offer one last opportunity because they are family? Pursue legal action to reclaim what was lost? Where do you set the boundary between assistance and exploitation?